And welcome to episode 51 of the Pause for Effects News and Discussion Podcast. I am your host, SG underscore Loxus, or Loxus T underscore TV, or Mac Daddy Loxus, whatever you'd like to call me. I'm here with my co-host,
DT Fo, how's it going?
And we're here with our new guest,
Super J 6 4. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast once again. And yeah, our special guest today is Super J. He's part of I guess he's also part of the group I'm affiliated with, Salt Gaming. That's where the SG in my name comes from on YouTube, if you're tuning in on YouTube. But yeah, so at any rate, today we are going to be discussing our video games that we may have been hyped for when we heard about them, but we're disappointed once we actually played them or experienced them in any way. Some of these games are going to be, or some of our opinions on this are going to be very subjective. So this, of course, is going to be things you guys may not agree with, or we may not even agree with amongst each other. But I think it'll be a fun discussion either way. So I guess to get things started, DT Fo, what's the first game on your list?
So I had to dig deep only because I make good choices. I rarely choose a bad game or a game I'm disappointed by, but I'm only human, so it happens every so often. But I guess looking at my Switch list right now, one of the games that wound up being less enjoyable than I was hoping is Yoshi's Crafted World.
Really?
Yeah. That I'll preface, it's a solid platformer. It's a Yoshi game. It very much tries to continue the whole Yoshi story aesthetic type, and it's even made by the same people who made Yoshi's Woolly World. And that's why I was excited for it. And I didn't get to play Yoshi's Woolly World, so I was thinking okay, cool, this will be my opportunity, my chance to get into it. But the problem is that it feels more like Yoshi's New Island-ish rather than Yoshi's Woolly World, where the music isn't that fun or exciting or creative. They try to do that whole amateur kids band thing with the kazoos and just...
I know what you're talking about. Remember that Nick Jr. sound effects they have on shows, bro?
Yeah, pretty much. And not even the good kind, hi there, face here, but it's bad. It's kind of bad on purpose, essentially. There's not a lot of variety to the music. Like with Yoshi's Story, even though they had that one light motif, that da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na kind of music, at least you had different styles. You had the hip hop one, the pawn ticka tune tune hoot-ha.
That's tough right there.
It was.
Yeah. You had the swimming one that was very much sleepy time. You had the running through the Alps version. There was a lot of variety with that. With Yoshi's Crafted World, it kind of tries to do the same thing, but the theme song itself, the leitmotif, isn't it's not as engaging. So it was a game I just had to keep pushing and trudging myself through until eventually I got to the credits. Yep, nope, that's it. Back in the case, I'm done with it. Did you guys get to play it? Yoshi's Crafted World?
Well, I played the demo, but I didn't get to play the actual game, and I actually fell asleep. Literally fell asleep. So it was kind of boring within the first couple worlds. I don't want to make a full judgment on it based off the first two levels of the game, because obviously games start off slow at the beginning and could get better. But usually when I was younger and I played any Yoshi game like Yoshi's Island or even Yoshi's Story, I was kind of hooked from the beginning. So that's probably not a good sign. What about you, Super J?
Yeah, I played the demo as well. I was never a fan of that art style ever since they tried to do it on Kirby's. What's the one on the
Epic
Wii?
Yarn?
Yeah, even when they even did it on Kirby Dreamland 3, I was never a fan of that art style. And I understand why they did that, but I tried the game on the demo and I seen gameplay of it. I seen most of the game. And it's just, ever since the Super Nintendo Yoshi's Island, man, it's just never been the same. Even on 64, it was straight. It still wasn't what I wanted. Woolly World just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yoshi's Island is pretty much the top of the list. I think Yoshi's Story is second on that tier list, and then there's yet to be any Yoshi game that's reached. Well, no, because whatchamacallit, Woolly World. I heard good things about it. That would be the third best Yoshi game, if not the second best. But none have come close since then, unfortunately.
So if Yoshi on the Super Nintendo is number one, what would be number two before Woolly?
Depending on who you ask, it'd be tied between Woolly World and what was the other one I was just talking about? And Yoshi Story.
Okay.
Yeah, but
That's kind of
sorry, what was that?
That's kind of sad too, seeing that the Super Nintendo version that came out many years ago is the best of the series.
Yeah.
Real quick, Super J, is there a way to make your voice a little bit louder? That'd be turned up to max.
Oh, I can speak up. Huh?
Okay, I guess that could work then. But yeah, I'd say even for me, Yoshi's Island is definitely the top for me, and then after that, probably Yoshi for sure. I really like Yoshi Story. There's actually some people that might actually say Yoshi Story is their most disappointing Yoshi game that they played in a while. But yeah, I'll say I guess we can move over to me on that same topic actually of Yoshi. On my list, I actually have Yoshi Island DS, which was the one with those babies on there in that game. So like, okay, all right, check this out. So like, you know, I'm chilling. We get an announcement on the DS about, you know, a new Yoshi Island game coming out, and it looks like somewhat of a return to form once you check it out. And then I'm like, okay, cool. They got all these babies in here, bro. This game's gonna be awesome. And I played it. The game wasn't just terrible and unbearable or anything. Wow, that was bars. But it wasn't like too unbearable to play. But it was really disappointing. I got kind of bored with it. I'm not gonna lie. After a while, I think I finished the game, but like, man, was it tough for me to get through that. I don't know. How did you feel about it? Any of you guys play that game?
Super J, you can go first.
I actually have a close friend of mine named he goes by Don, aka Mahoroa, on the gaming world. He played that game. He said he enjoyed it, but not as much as the Super Nintendo version.
Right.
I've seen gameplay of it, like it has Donkey Kong and Wario and all this other stuff in it. It looks like it's versatile and could be fun, but it's missing that aspect and aesthetic that the Super Nintendo version had. And I could just imagine trying to play that. It's like somebody gives you Mountain Lion instead of Mountain Dew. So I left it alone.
I mean, you know, Mountain Lion would be more fun than Mountain Dew, I'd say, as long as it was tame. You know, we're getting off track. Anyway. Yeah, my experience was kind of the same. Like, I think the biggest reason why Yoshi's Island DS was kind of a disappointment was because it was so hyped up. There hasn't been a Yoshi's Island since the Super Nintendo one. Like, even though Yoshi's Story existed, we don't really count that because, like, Yoshi's Story is not Yoshi Island. Even if it is still Yoshi, the same shooting egg mechanic, that kind of stuff. It was like, all right, you got the babies back. You're going to get the cry. You're going to be transferring these characters over to the end of the world, that kind of stuff. But I guess it just didn't grab the same kind of energy. And I would also probably say that the extra gimmicks they added, as cool as it was to see baby Donkey Kong, baby Wario, and so on, just kind of like overcomplicated it more than it needed to be. But yeah, it's an unfortunate set of events. And I think it was also made by the same people who made Yoshi's New Island. So there you go.
Here you go. So Super J, tell us what's your game on your list?
Oh man, there's so many.
You know it's bad if someone starts off with old man.
Can you hear me a lot better now?
Absolutely.
So, we all as gamers have a lot of things that we look up to in life. Mm-hmm. We have role models, superstars, heroes, people in our dreams, people of politics for some people, teachers, fathers, mothers, sometimes aunties. But when it comes to video games, we've all been let down many a time. Whether it's Duke Nukem, Paper Mario series, or Contra. But I want to say here today, and I won't say Bomberman, because the new Bomberman is not really kicking it for me, along with so many other games. I won't even go over the... I won't even do it with Paper Mario. I'm not going to do it, because Thousand Year Door, we all know that was great. We're not going to talk about that. We know what Nintendo's aiming for. What I'm going to talk about today is going to hurt you all. And you may have forgotten. But I'll never forget. And I'm going to say this. Mighty Number 9.
Bruh.
Out of everything in my life that's disappointed me, that game That game. And the reason I say this is because this is why I say I don't like talking about it. Let me tell you, I'm gonna just share my story. I got into Mega Man Hardcore off the GameCube, actually, off the Legacy Collection. I never really had a chance to get it on the NES. My brother mostly controlled what games I got. He was never interested in Mega Man, so I never really played it, but I saw the series. Got my hands on Mega Man X on Super Nintendo when I was younger. So when I had the chance to play the classic Mega Man series, I was astounded. When Mega Man 9 and 10 came out later, this was around the time I think Obama was president when the later ones came out.
Yeah.
I was hyped up. Like, yes. And then, after a long drop, Keiji Inafune drops this video some random night. And it's off the Kickstarter, and it's like, yeah, fun this game. And I literally pull aside my friends talking about how much inspired I am, how much I need to get back into game design. This is like a dream come true. This is what gaming really is. He pulled these people together. I'm sitting here preaching, like, I'm one of the people that believe in this game. Just to be let down years later. Now, who looks like the fool? Me. I'm still kind of hurt. I'm sorry if anybody else is hurt, but it was probably the biggest letdown ever. I think it let me down more than my girlfriend back in the day when she never called me back. I was let down more than that. I was really hurt. That's my number one out of everything that let me down.
Okay.
That's fair.
So first of all, I'm sorry you had to go through that, bro. I feel you. You know what I mean? Like during the time my number 9 was announced, I was very hyped. Hearing Keiji Inafune and his whole team, his whole staff working on it, really hyped me up and gave me reassurance. A lot of my friends were supporting the game. I'm not gonna say their names, but they put their money into the game and everything, trying to support it. Some of my friends tried to talk trash to me because I didn't want to participate in that, as far as like paying money. Because for some reason I was hyped for it, but like something inside of me was just like, something is not gonna go right with this. I could feel it, bro. I don't know what. It was like a premonition. They were like, oh, you're not a true Mega Man fan. You're not trying to support them. And I'm like, bro, there's something does not feel good about this. And lo and behold, the game ended up being a lot more mediocre than people thought it was going to be. Now, mediocre. Now, I played the game and I almost 100%ed it. So as somebody that played the game and kind of went a little deep into the game itself, it's not a bad game. And I feel like if the game came out under different circumstances at a different time, the game may have been a little better received than it is. But during a time where we had a Mega Man drought and was expecting something to either replace Mega Man or kind of push things forward, in the time where we didn't have him, it just didn't do a good job. So I was very disappointed myself in that particular case, but it was not that bad. Like some people try to put my number 9 on levels of Sonic 06 and other games, but I don't think it's not that bad. That game is playable.
It's not Sonic 06 bad at all.
No,
it's not.
It's like a very B-tier, C-tier indie platformer game. Basically, level is what it is. Like
I might slide it to the D level.
Yeah. Yeah, D. I just thought about it. Thought you were gonna go higher. Yeah, it's like C level to B level to me. The game's fun to me, but like I said, it's okay. Like I played it with I had to take my Mega Man helmet off, had to deattach my Buster. I can really look at that game objectively. But DT Forward, how did you feel about my number 9?
I'm trying to remember how I felt at the time. I think I was looking forward to it. I wasn't as excited, but as you said, we were like in a huge Mega Man drought at the time. That like, especially after the unfortunate disappointment of that was the development of Mega Man Legends 3, where Capcom was hyping it up, saying, and you get to be the developer. Join us in this roundtable as you give your ideas and we'll run competitions and stuff and make music. Hey, the demo's coming to the eShop. It's canceled. Inafune's gone. Next game canceled. Mega Man Universe canceled. Mega Man X game canceled. Whatever you thought existed is gone. And then like Inafune came out of nowhere saying like, hey, we got this pretty much. And like, I think it was also at a time when indie games were starting to prove themselves, which was like what built up a lot of expectations. That what came before that? Because there was one game that was really successful that really proved that it worked, but I don't remember what it was. because Shovel Knight came out after Mighty Number 9, so that wasn't it. Yeah, I would have to do some research and find it, but essentially, like, you know, the power of the gamers, it was in their hands that a good game was going to be made. And like, oh, the father of Mega Man. That's not really true in hindsight, but the father of Mega Man, he's making a new game. Surely he knows how to do it right. And then it didn't turn out exactly right. But yeah, that would be probably the biggest. The other reason why it also didn't help was because it made like, what, $2 million?
Yeah.
Close to 4, actually.
Yeah, and there was supposed to be a cartoon and like a live action show. And then in the middle of development, he announced Redash, which is supposed to be a Mega Man Legends spinoff, which then the whatchamacallit was canceled. The Kickstarter was canceled because a publisher picked that up. But he was also working on World of Pirates or Pirate King or whatever the flip you'd call it. God dang it, Inafune.
Just to be accurate, the Kickstarter is still up for Mighty Number 9. It actually raised $3,845,170.
You know,
67,000 backers. And this was back in October 25th.
I'll never forgive him for this.
You need to be stopped.
with the maximum pledge being at $4,000, we're supposed to get an online battle race mode, optional chiptune soundtrack, all this other stuff. PS Vita, 3DS, Xbox.
Those do not exist anymore.
Online beck and call, online co-op challenge mode. Was that on there?
Yes. Yeah. I think it was on there. I think you can even do that online.
Did they have the making of documentary on there? I don't think I saw that.
I don't know if I saw that either. I know they had
I
know they had a tiny segment on it. But...
It was supposed to be on Mac and Linux as well. Apparently, I didn't know that.
Hell no, I know when on no damn Mac and Linux. I'm sure it wasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the comments below on YouTube, but I don't believe that was the case.
There's a pledge of $10,000. You get dinner with KG Inafune. That's 4 backers of that. So I wonder how many people actually had dinner with him.
I would expect they did get the dinner. I think anything as far as production stuff goes is where the real problem was. That like, as far as like, you know, these cool little perks, like you get to hang out with Keiji Inafune. Like, I'm sure that already happened.
You sure about that? I'm sure Inafune is probably like, oh man, I can't wait to hang out with Inafune. You get there, it's like one of his co-workers or something. Hey, who are you? You're not Inafune. But yeah, I'm Larry. I was hired by Inafune to have dinner with you. But you can call me Inafune.
Oh yeah, what Super J just posted on our Discord chat, that is also one of the reasons why it kinda didn't reach what people were hoping for. They didn't fully promise how the game was gonna look. Like that illustration that they showed was promising, but like they didn't make clear what the final look was gonna be. And then when they showed the the 3D design, it was like, yeah, fine.
Yeah, we can, yeah, but we've been beating the actual hell out of Mighty Number 9 for a while. Everybody's been beating this game up to no end, so that was a good one to bring up there, Super J. Like this is on me again now. All right, I'm gonna bring up something, and I want to bring up something controversial. I want you guys. I don't know how you guys will feel about this.
See ya.
See ya. No, but okay. There was a game that I was looking forward to. I won't say I was super hyped for it, but it looked interesting. And when I played it at that time, I was extremely disappointed when I played it. Kirby Epic Yarn. Kirby's Epic Yarn. I was disappointed when I played that. I saw it, and I don't know what I was expecting. I saw him whipping things and taking things apart, and I was expecting to play that game. It was gonna be just this action Kirby game, because I think the last Kirby game I played before that was Canvas Curse, which was an interesting, unique take on Kirby, but still managed to kind of have that same kind of feeling you get from like a Kirby Superstar, Nightmare Dreamland Adventure, any of those, and it had that same kind of pacing. But this Kirby game felt really slow to me in some ways, and like the music was a little too soft for my liking too. And like I said, it's completely subjective. I'm not saying the game sucks. If you disagree with me, once again, make sure to comment below and make sure to hit like. Make sure to subscribe too if you like the content. But I'm gonna say that you should ring that notification bell so you'll see the videos when they come out. But seriously, yeah, I was a little disappointed about that game. But I'm absolutely curious to hear how you guys felt about that game. DT4, how did you feel about it?
All right, so I don't blame people for how they felt at. What was that?
That was Kirby. Kirby didn't want to hear it, bro. Freaking wipe the audio out of our freaking podcast here. Now we go ahead.
I don't blame people for feeling the way they felt at the time. This was also like well within the Wii's lifespan. Like it was becoming nothing but casual games. Nintendo was going for that blue ocean strategy, going for all the casuals. You weren't getting like, the hardcore games that you used to get on the Super Nintendo N64 GameCube. So like when they're showing this cutesy cuddly, more cutesier and cuddlier than Kirby usually is, and like, oh, you can't even die in the game, oh, you can't even get hurt in the game. And while I think that's kind of stupid in hindsight as far as that criticism, I get it. And I get why people looked over it and looked past it. Now that we're spaced further away from it, I think people did give it a pretty bad shake early on. That if it's not your deal, it's not your deal. But it's clear that it wasn't a bad game by any extent. It just like wasn't the hardcore Kirby standard game, however hardcore Kirby would usually be, that people wanted. So again, I don't blame them, but I don't think that criticism has aged well. I think the game has actually aged better than it did before.
Okay. Before we move to Super J, I will say that, yeah, I agree with you. And I honestly think that if I played the game now, I probably like it a lot more. Because there's a lot of games that's taken on because I actually like the whole I actually enjoy games that don't punish you via death and game over. Death counts in game overs anymore, so you can actually have time to enjoy the game. And I realize now that some games, that game is not built like your traditional Kirby game, where it's more like you're collecting things kind of in that game, and just like enjoying the experience. So I feel like if I play that game now, I probably have a different perspective on it. But at that time, yeah, I was definitely disappointed. But Super J, what is your take on the game?
I felt the same way as you. I kind of didn't enjoy it too much. One of my friends actually gave me the game and said he really enjoyed it. Give it a try. Hype me up. I think I cranked it up. Probably played it for like 15 minutes. And it's just always something about Kirby games that ring in my back of my mind. And I know it's a bad thing. I compare everything to Superstar.
Oh, wait, no, you actually have good taste though.
And Superstar Ultra, actually on DS, was surprisingly good for it to be a DS port. A lot of DS ports like Diddy Kong Racing was bad, but yeah, for it to be a DS port, it was great. And then Kirby Epic Yarn came out, and I'm like, let's go. And then now I played it, and I'm like, let's not go. So that's my thought on that.
Let's stay home.
Let's not go. I'm glad that my opinion wasn't too shaky, at least amongst you guys. So that's good to know.
One thing I like to state on it though, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
It's all about Nintendo's appeal in regards to the market that they reach out for, and that game is extremely casual, and its target audience was something probably not to a lot of adult tastes. It was more so to teens and the younger crowd, and more so have like a very kiddish aspect, and you can see that they've been reaching for that since Yoshi's on the 64. So you can't really blame them. That's just Nintendo's target. And when they came out with that, they at least do it once with every series. Kirby had to go through it at some point, so I'd rather it be then than for them to try to do it again now. Like, don't do that again.
Yeah, you can always tell their target audience based off the commercials they do. Like back, at least at the early days of the Switch, they did kind of shake it up by making sure, like, no, we're not showing any kids in these commercials. It will be young adults, if not full-grown adults, playing our system. As far as trying to appeal to people, but what is it, like Yoshi's New Island, going back to that, Yoshi's, I think, Crafted World, like anytime you hear like that male voice that's like kind of like a little bit nasally, like Kirby's in a new game and it's up to you to take him on this adventure, you're in for like no, this is for kids kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. Super J brought up an extremely good point. During that time period, Nintendo was reaching out to a more casual audience. So in the defense of that game, you know, it was just a time period. You know, we were transitioning over to it. I think now, since we've been through those wave of games, a lot of us are a lot more open-minded to it.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing is that like it still maintains the idea that there's no such thing as a bad Kirby game, and you will be hard pressed to find a bad Kirby game. There may be one you don't like, there may be one that's stronger than others, but you'll still be pressed to find a Kirby game that is legitimately bad.
There you go. All right, so Super J, DT4. What was your next game?
All right, so this game is not bad by any means, but I'm not even sure if it's a game you guys have heard of. It's called No Straight Roads.
I have. I know. I heard of No Straight.
I see you're a man of culture as well. No, but
It actually came out recently.
yeah,
I think, right? Like
earlier
middle
last
last year.
Yeah, that I think it was a game developed in Malaysia of all places, and it's about like more or less an indie band, a guy and a girl that are trying to take on like a giant, music corporation, and like it's all about music and energy. It's very much that kind of style, but like they put a lot of their work into the music and aesthetic of the game, but unfortunately they didn't put as much time into like tightening the controls. So like I got the Switch version. I heard that the other version may be a little bit stronger, but like the game looks great, it sounds great, but it just doesn't play as well as it could. That like it feels, the jumping and like running around feels a little bit loose. Like any rhythm bass aspect isn't as tight as it could be. So it's kind of like deflated my want. Like when there's a new game, yeah, pretty much. When there's a new game I really, really want to play, I usually have trouble putting it down. But like after the first or second boss in No Straight Roads, it's like, all right, I can take my time on this. I'm not in as much of a rush as I would usually be, and it's unfortunate because I was looking so forward to that game. But I think as it's getting new updates, I can give it a second go and see how much better it might be. But yeah, that's my shake right now.
I'm surprised. I hear mixed reviews about that game. Actually, I have a friend. He posts a lot about it. I think he's your friend too, Loxus. I can't remember his name, but I remember he posted a few videos of it, and I've seen some gameplay of it. It looked okay, but yeah, I saw a lot of mixed. I haven't played it personally myself, but I can see as to why I would disappoint you there. That's crazy. That game looked like it had a big hype coming up too.
Yeah, if it played a lot better, I think it would have gotten a whole lot more attention. But then again, like, I'm the same person who loves Mad Rat Dead, and like no one's talking about it outside of people who only played it anyway. And that's a really, really good game. Play Mad Rat Dead. I know we're talking about disappointing games, but that's one to actually check out.
You have to type that in the chat. I'm gonna check that out.
Okay.
I was watching a streamer play that the other day, actually.
Mad Rat Dead or No Straight Roads?
Mad Rat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? So next, Super J, what was your next game?
Gotta clear my throat for this one. All right.
Let me clear.
So
my
next
throat.
to the mighty number 9, disappointment. You know, coming up as a kid, you see things that inspire you, and you're like, man, this is amazing. Things that you want to really, 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 get your itch going on in the future as you grow older. You hope that somebody remakes it. And there's a great game that came out back in the day called Turtles in Time. It was great on the Super Nintendo port. It actually was pretty good on the Genesis. There was a different variation of it. It basically was kind of yin and yang. And it was in the arcade. We all love Turtles in Time in the arcade. For some reason, back in, I think it was 2008 or 2009, some company thought, hey, we can do this. And they tried to do Turtles in Time Reshelled. It was on the Xbox Arcade, and I'm pretty sure it was on PlayStation Arcade or whatever. But that game was not good. It was lackluster. It missed out on what the games really was. It was the feel of the fighting. Of course, it included the turtles. It actually was missing a stage or two, I think, from the arcade version. But yeah, the feel of it was kind of bad. The music wasn't really engaging. it missed all the core aspects of it. Like, it was very, very lackluster. I remember playing that with another friend that was really hyped. We beat that game quick, and we wanted to throw it away quick. But I was so set on it not being that bad that I kept playing it on hard and hard difficulties.
Oh, Shell,
let down every time. That's just how much I love the TMNT series. I'm a huge side-scrolling beat 'em up fan. That's why when Streets of Rage 4 came out, I'm glad it was actually a good game because I was scared. And of course, now we got TMNT now coming out with a newer version made by the same team that made Streets of Rage 4, and it looks amazing. So I'm hoping I'm not let down again. I will come back to this podcast and comment if it did. Okay. But yeah, that was a huge letdown for me. I think I remember cursing really loud that night. And I probably flipped a few things over, but yeah. That game let me down.
I don't blame you. It was all the companies were getting in on the whole retro remakes and like sequels or anything in between. Like we got Mega Man 9 and 10. You know, they're not remakes, but like they were trying to re-reach that whole 2D NES 8-bit aesthetic, and it worked for the most part. I'm not sure how well it compares to other Mega Man games by modern standpoints, but at the time it was a welcome thing. But yeah, the Turtles in Time remake, just like 3D. Choppy, not great controls. I don't even think the music was any good or better, was it?
It wasn't. It was very, very poor. Very, very. If for anybody here that loves video game music, listen to TMNT on the SNES, the whole soundtrack, then go listen to Reshell and watch you fall asleep. I promise you'll fall asleep.
Like, and it is great timing that new TMNT game has been announced and that .emu is behind developing it. Like, they're never gonna run out of work to do. Like, between their hand-drawn design and I guess this time around pixel art, like, they really know how to make a good-looking game play well.
They're on the same level as WayForward to me, because WayForward brought back Double Dragon Neon, and I thought that was gonna be bad, but that was actually amazing. Like, them and WayForward, if one of them would have made it, I know they would have did the job. So I trust them.
Yeah,
I feel like they won't let me down.
Because WayForward worked with, I think, ArcSys to make River City Girls recently. But as far as Double Dragon Neon, I need to give that a shot on the Switch. Because I skipped it because, unfortunately, like the idiot that I was, I only really paid attention to the IGN review. And they gave it a 3 out of 10 at the time. It's like
it's not that bad. The music in that game is phenomenal. You won't be music and gameplay is pretty good.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Locks?
On
any Turtles in Time or any of the other things we just mentioned?
No, I mean I 100% agree with everything. You guys basically covered everything. I for the most part everything I was pretty much gonna say. So I mean I agree with everything.
Okay.
I was gonna say that, and I'm looking forward. Well, I'll say this: I am looking forward to the new Ninja Turtles game that's coming out, and I look forward to playing that with hopefully one of you guys or both of you guys or whatever. I think that'd be a good little game to play. Beat 'em up games are like really important. I think to have around. So
yeah, it's important that they work well enough too. But yeah, hopefully.
I have the urge to beat up on people. I need them beat 'em ups, but I don't want to beat down anybody. Get it? Because you down and beat up. All right. Another game I was hyped for and was disappointed with. All right, hold your seats, guys. Make sure you know what I'm saying. You might want to get a belt and strap yourself down. This is about to be crazy, guys. Gonna shake the room. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash.
Oh, I had a feeling. I knew it. Understandable, though. Understandable.
All right, so check this out, man. So I am a humongous fan of tennis. I love tennis. Tennis is my favorite sport of all time. I grew up in a long story short. I have a family of athletes, basically. I was the gamer out of everyone. Everybody else were gamers in my family too, but I'm the one that kind of stuck with it as long as I have. So I'm the nerd, pretty much. But I'm pretty good at sports. Tennis was a sport that I gravitated to, so I always liked that. Now, translate that over to Mario. Mario Tennis 1, excellent game. It was the first of the Mario Tennis series, so it didn't have anything too crazy in it. It was just kind of baseline tennis for the most part. It had some cool mini games on there you could do, but it was cool. You know what I mean? We got Mario freaking Power Tennis. We had the Game Boy Advance games that were cool. You know, they had the Game Boy games that, actually the Game Boy Advance one to me was kind of trash, but the Game Boy Color one or the Game Boy one was pretty cool. It had the RPG thing, you know what I'm saying? Original characters, shout out to Plum and all them. I think she was the one in tennis or golf, one of the two. But
yeah, same sport.
Yeah, it's the same sport. Ball, you're hitting things, the same thing. But I was gonna say that we have Mario Power Tennis, arguably the best Mario Tennis game to date. They have not been able to top that game yet, as far as I'm concerned. That game was so good. Like even to this day, Super J can attest to this. When we had game nights, we would play that game every time at game night. Super competitive. Everyone loved it. It's not even just a nostalgia thing, because we had people during those game nights that were playing the game for the first time, and they still had an excellent time with it. It still looks good. It aged extremely well graphically. They had enough casual modes and casual, I guess, pieces within that game to make it fun. If you want to play competitively, turn everything off. If you want to play casually, turn everything on. And the specials are fun because you can counter the specials with other specials or even without specials. You know what I mean? It just added layers to things. Nice callbacks. Music was excellent. Everything about that game was good. We get the Mario on the 3DS, Mario Tennis on 3DS. That game was pretty good. It was a handheld Mario Tennis game, so I wasn't expecting much out of it. It was fun to me. Kind of busted with the Mii's, and the balancing was a little too much for me. But for a DS game, it was solid. It introduced those weird pads that you step on where you hit the ball and you can make it lob over your head, or you can make it do this little snake boogie shot from Prince of Tennis and make it go around the net or whatever. You know what I mean? You got all that crazy stuff. That was cool. Now we get to Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. We had not had a new console release for Mario Tennis since Mario Power Tennis. They re-released the game on the Nintendo Wii, so we have not had a new mainline Mario Tennis game on a home console in a long time. So I'm hyped for this game. This game looked good. This is like post Mario Kart, if I'm not mistaken. It came out after Mario Kart, and I think it also came out after Mario 3D World, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but I do know that because those games was what showed, those games ushered in a new era of like Mario graphically, and like Mario Kart still looks good. Mario Kart looks so good. Mario 3D World looks super good. That game, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, aesthetically looks freaking amazing. I'm not gonna lie, but man, that gameplay's dry as shit. You turn that fucking game on, there's nothing to do. In every Mario Tennis game, you can at least go to a tournament mode or anything. Like the HUD, the UI, everything looks plain as hell. It looks like some kid did it in college or in their college project or something. It looks whack as hell. You got like some points system where you can unlock everything. I get it. I think the thing they were trying to do with this game, since everyone already had Mario Tennis open on the DS, or the 3DS rather, they want you to be able to get in, get your shit, get online, play. Basically, it's almost like what they did with Street Fighter V. It seems at the beginning, there was like no content, but they want you to be able to just immediately get online and play. You can unlock everything probably within a couple hours, really easily. I'm not saying games have to be ridiculously hard to unlock things, but it didn't feel gratifying doing anything. There wasn't a lot of modes. There wasn't nothing to do. You get online, nobody wanted the game because everybody heard how bad it was on launch. So when you get online, it took me, and I promise this happened, I had enough time to select that match, walk out of my room, go make a sandwich, grab a drink, sit down in the kitchen, talk to my roommate, eat, go take a shit, come back, and I still didn't have a match. And then I finally got a match. That's how long it took in between. I played 3DS games in between my matches. It took so long to find them. That was in ranked mode and casual mode. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that game was severely disappointing. We actually went back. We tried playing that game at my game night. We ended up scrapping that game and just went back to Power Tennis. So, sorry that was long, but goddamn that game. All right, DT4. No, as a matter of fact, Super J, I'll let you go first this time. How do you feel about Ultra Smash?
Oh man. Well, I buy a lot of games to keep them. Usually, especially multiplayer. Like whenever I purchase games, I usually like rent or maybe buy a trade single player games or stuff like that. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash is a game that I actually turned back in.
Oh no.
I played halfway through the little campaign they had on there, whatever, all that stuff, and I was like, I don't think this should stay in my collection, so I no longer have it. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I didn't even bother picking it up only because like it was at a point in the Wii is like, yeah, these games are just. And I'm someone who picked up Amiibo Festival, but I picked it up for the Amiibo specifically. I mean, who's laughing now with the Isabelle and Digby Amiibo? Everyone else who bought it for like $2 like 2 years later. But that's beside the point. Yeah, with Power Tennis though, like it's. I was just kind of burnt out of like the somewhat lackluster Wii U games by then, and like I fully accepted and agreed that it was a solid enough game, but just like there was no point at that point. It failed for me. That's all I can really say about it.
And oh man, that game.
And for it to be designed by Camelot is another thing that throws me off. Like I thought it was gonna be better. I feel like Nintendo. This is how I feel. This is how I feel. Why that game is the way it was. Because the Camelot, it's not the Camelot development team itself. It's always somebody above them that directs the game. And there was a certain direction that they were aiming for with Ultra Smash that wasn't what the other games had as a core. Like even Mario Tennis on like the Game Boy and the DS and stuff like you mentioned were great. So why did Ultra Smash fail?
All right, so sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and my thing is, I think that they tried to do a bit of a redesign, and it just didn't end up feeling as great. I don't know who sat there and play tested that game, but they really should have. Like, I think that they should have not do so much of a comparison, but they took like a they took a huge risk on that. I guess they just kind of wanted to release it and see how the world felt. But I'm pretty sure they could tell it felt different. I don't know. It's what you gonna say, DT4? I'm sorry.
Right, so I think that like by that point, the Wii U was caught in the catch-22, where like, oh, we need to make games to attract customers or have our current customers feel like they got their money's worth. But oh man, no one new was going to buy these systems just for XYZ. So we don't want to put in full development time for a game that's clearly not going to sell that well. That's how you wind up getting games like Amiibo Festival, Power Tennis. I'm sure there's other games too, but like along those routes that like there were already droughts from the very beginning because third-party developers just weren't putting in the time, and then Nintendo, try as they might, just couldn't attract more people. There was a Smash Brothers crowd, but then for a lot of the people, the Wii U was pretty much the Smash Brothers system and nothing else. So that's probably why like Ultra Smash or whatever it's called like just didn't perform that well, was because like they didn't put in as much effort as they usually would in the usual Mario Tennis game, and it wound up hurting the final product in the long run, but partially because they knew it wasn't going to do well in the grand scheme of things either. No one's going to buy the system just for Mario Tennis. Yeah, so it was just caught between a rock and a hard place essentially.
And while we're at it, Mario Tennis Aces didn't do it for me either.
No, that's fair. At launch, it was, they very much tried to go the Splatoon route, like let's hurry this out and like let's add everything else later. Not in such a malicious way.
Wait, the Splatoon route?
Essentially, like that it lacked a certain amount of content at the beginning, but then it all came together like by the end of its lifespan.
Splatoon did that?
Yeah, Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 kind of did that. That's like people were complaining that like why isn't there more to Splatoon 1, and then they complain like, oh,
that is.
I was talking about Splatoon 2 because we had Salmon Run and everything else like right out the gates.
Yeah, there was more, but it was still like kind of the same thing of like we'll add more stages. We'll do it wasn't but like they followed the same process.
Because when I was thinking of like
didn't
something
it start with like 5 or 6 stages or something when it first came out.
Yeah. So I guess in that retrospect, I understand that. When I'm thinking like lacking of things, I'm thinking like Mario Tennis, Ultra Smash, lacking of things. Like there's literally you cut the game on and there's nothing. Like you go do this points thing, play with your friends and have fun. That's it. All right, unlock stuff. All right, bye. kind of
Yeah,
shit.
no, sorry. Yeah, no, Splatoon wasn't that empty, but like it was clear Nintendo was kind of jumping on that whole. We'll add more later to keep engagement as long as we can.
Okay. But you about to
Yeah.
say something, Super Jet. Whoa. Wait, who's game? Oh yeah. You were mentioning. Okay, yeah. All right, sorry. So whose turn is it? Is it yours? Does somebody have? Do you guys have anything else to say about that?
Not about that,
No,
but I do
go
have
ahead, let it
at
go.
least one more game.
Okay. What about you, D2Fo?
All right, so this one's probably an obvious one, but probably not for the reasons you might think, and maybe so. But Sonic Forces.
I knew that was
Oh,
coming.
thank you,
at some
thank you,
point.
thank you, thank you.
Why'd you say thank you?
Cause we need to talk about that. That's important.
Okay.
Yeah, because together we can show the world what we can do.
Okay.
You are here, we are not next to you. Pushing on through until the anyway.
You're really gonna sing the whole song? Okay, I was about to say like he's not gonna stop. I thought the gag was over at the first line.
But yeah, like I remember when I was at E3 back in I think 2019. Hashtag humble brag. That like I remember I was looking forward to it. Like they were saying, hey, there's a new Sonic game coming out. They showed that like it's not Sonic Generations 2, but like classic Sonic is back. 3 Sonic gameplay is here. Like, we got something serious going on, so it's something to like look forward to. And then I played the demo, and when I walked away, I was like, yeah, not feeling what I was hoping I would feel from playing this. And I was like, all right, maybe it's just because it was a demo and it'll get better. It never got better. But yeah, overall, it was just, I guess it just turned out to be like somewhat of a rushed game, but not a broken game. Just like it's not as much as it could have been. Surprisingly, out of all the things I actually enjoyed of that game, it was a custom character mechanic. That like it was cool to see that like, oh, this whole DeviantArt joke thing actually turned out to actually have some legs. If only there was more they could have done with it at the time. But yeah, lost potential there because they're not going to do it again.
So I'm gonna say this. I actually didn't mind Sonic Forces. My stream chat tried to get me to play that game as a joke so I could suffer and they could laugh at me. But I actually had a decent time with it. I'm not gonna say I played it and it was just a remarkable experience that changed my life and the Sonic and how I feel of Sonic in the modern era. But it wasn't that bad. Like I was expecting from what I heard, because I played the game years later. Like there had already been 3,000 reviews on the game, all kind of case studies on the game and how it's ruined Sega forever. I mean, I heard all this stuff. That Sega was Sonic Forever, all these things. And I played it and I was like, maybe it could have been because I didn't have an expectation, I guess, going in. Because all I could do was expect it to be bad. But when I went in, it wasn't that bad. Like I played it and I was like, this is just a very vanilla Sonic game to me. I don't know, like it just felt lifeless to me, if I could say something. Like it didn't feel bad like a lot of people were saying. I was expecting to play it and it was gonna be like Sonic 06 or something. Like I'm gonna be running through walls and dying every 2 seconds and I can't control Sonic. I was expecting something like that, but for me it was just more like it was just boring and like lifeless. Like I said, I don't know, like I didn't feel anything from it. Not bad or good, but it was okay. And I felt like the little side custom character, people were talking about how good those characters are. They were fun, but it wasn't like, man, this made the whole game for me. It didn't feel like that with them either. They felt kind of dry too, honestly. But it was okay. Like I said, the game wasn't terrible, but it wasn't super good either. How about you, Super J?
Oh man, back to me again. It's just a lot of things when I grew up, like just disappointed me as an adult when you would expect them to have the knowledge of it. So when you're in school, when you're in first grade, you learn 2 + 2 and stuff. By the time you get to 3rd and 4th grade, you're expected to know multiplication. That's in more advanced stuff of math, along with anything else. So with that being said, you think companies would get better over time. I grew up in a Nintendo household. For the most part, we got PlayStation stuff later. And one game that really stuck to me difficulty-wise, next to Ninja Gaiden on the NES, was Contra. I fell in love with Contra due to its difficulty and the fact that I ran around shooting up aliens and robots and stuff and getting explosions. And when you are highly successful in a Contra game, you're mostly the ish. That is like the peak of hardcore run and gun shooting, next to Metal Slug and stuff like that. So You know, they got Contra and Super C. It goes by Super Contra, but I call it Super C because that's what I grew up on the NES. I really enjoyed those. Contra 3 on the Super Nintendo, when I got my hands on that, I said, wow, this is amazing. Contra 3 and Super C, which are two, later games in the series, were amazing. Like, man, Konami really knows what they're doing. It's getting better and better every time. I didn't have my hands on Hard Corps. Apparently that was an amazing game. But Contra 4 on the DS was insane. God, dude, the music on there is so great. And when you switch to hard mode, the first stage music is a remix of the original Contra from the NES. It is phenomenal. There's even a part on that game where you're flying up on a rocket ship after you leave a harbor. You're grabbing on the side. There's an alien attacking you as you fall down. And then you land on the streets and then you fight another alien. There's just so many things. Like, there's one part you go inside of an alien, you kill it, then you have to go up into the alien through its body, wrecking it, and then you fight the head. That game is just so amazing. Like, they know how to make the feeling and the scene and the music for Contra. Then they came out with that was bad. Contra 4 came out in 2007. They released Contra Rebirth on the Wii, and it was like a arcade-ish type version of a Contra thing that they pulled together. It was actually pretty good, and it was pretty easy, but it was amazing. Then they had Contra Hard Corps Uprising on the Xbox and stuff, and that game was actually phenomenal. Like, man, they're just getting better and better. There's no way they can mess this up now. Then, in 2019, we get Contra Road Corps. And I'm going to stop talking right there.
Yeah, I kind of saw, like, oh, he's mentioning Contra. Oh, here it comes.
God, that game pissed me off. For the sake of this podcast being distributed publicly, I will not say anything else about Contra Road Corps because I respect the stream too much. So just know I don't like Contra Road Corps. You hype me up just like Hizuka on Hunter x Hunter. Anybody seen it just for me not be able to fight Krollo? I felt just like that.
Oh,
so I'm turned off. I don't know what's Konami doing. They messed up Metal Gear and they doing all this. Like, y'all need to get it together, man.
They messed up Bomberman too.
I don't know who I need to fight. They messing everything up, man. Like, how do you have a series that great? Like, think about the years and how many games I just named just for you to drop that.
I mean, that's what winds up happening, like, when you turn into the company that Konami is, which, to be fair, at least they're still making games, but it's clear that, like, video games is not their primary focus at this point. Like, did you guys know that there was, like, I think a Bomberman Battle Royale game? And I'm not talking about Bomber Grounds.
I think Super J, didn't we talk about that? Or was it? It's
like
talking
about Game of Bombs
online. No, I don't think it's called Game of Bombs, but it has like the Super Bomberman R art aesthetic. But like, it was originally just released on Stadia. It's only coming to console.
Oh yeah, Google Stadia. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember I said, Loxus, we need to try that. That's the version that I wish we had.
Oh,
but it's only on Google Stadia.
Yeah, it's coming to consoles now, but like, it's just.
Oh really? Nice.
When?
No date yet. They just said 2021.
Kind of late though.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, that's the whole thing about Konami these days. Like, ever since Hudson Soft went out of business, or Konami bought them out, or whichever, like, Konami owns the rights to like some of the greatest IPs of the 90s, and they're not doing much with it. Like, I was super thankful that they showed, like, hey, we got Super Bomberman R for launch at Switch, and it's like, oh my god, I didn't think there would ever be another Bomberman game ever. For whatever reason, I just didn't think it was going to happen. And then the game like lived and died within like 1 year, because it's not like a definitive Bomberman, but like, yeah, Kojima, sorry, Kojima. I mean, what's the difference, right? No, but Keiji Inafune. What's his face? Kojima left Konami like a while ago, so like, there's no point in expecting a new Metal Gear of that quality ever again. It's also kind of funny to think about how much representation Konami characters got in Smash, when Konami is not doing that much with Castlevania, even though there was that TV show that I heard was really, really good. That the Contra game was pretty horrible. Like, what are they up to these days? No one really knows. Like, what about Bonk? That was a Hudson Soft game, and nothing about that. Nothing new about Bomberman aside from that Battle Royale. Like, Konami.
Oh, snap.
What's up?
No.
I was just watching
Oh,
a
you go
video for that battle royale. It looks really cool. It looks like, it reminds
it's
me of the
dope.
Tetris thing a little bit, and the way they did the Mario 35. But like you have like 4 Bombermen. So you have, it's like 4 players in one square, and there's like several squares. Basically, by squares I mean arenas. And I guess you just kind of advance up as you kill them or whatever. When you win those particular arenas until you get to like the last one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's I do have to give credit, like, as annoying as Fortnite might be to some people. Like, no, I'm giving credit. Fortnite sucks now. But that like, it's kind of like encourage these developers to figure like a way to get in on the genre without it simply being another shooter game. Although Square Enix has clearly not picked up the memo on that with their Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale game. Oh boy.
All right.
You know.
I guess we can get to our last games here. Alrighty. So let's see here. We may have to do a part 2 on this because I got like some more games out here. But we might have to come back to this.
How many you got?
Because there's more I want to add that I just thought about, but I got like 3 left, 3 or 4 left. But like we can come back to this. I do want to make a games that were hype and turned out good. I want to do a video on that at some point. But but I'll go ahead and say my last one here. Sonic Free Riders.
Wait, on
Another
the
Sonic game?
on the Kinect?
Yes. Now, it is another Sonic game, but at least it's not like a mainline game, so I'm not like just picking on every modern Sonic game. This game pissed me off because, see, I think I'm actually pretty open-minded. I'm one of the few people that actually really enjoyed the original Sonic Riders. I love that game to death. I still play it to this day. I still play it. The first Sonic Riders was excellent. If you liked F-Zero, if you like Sonic, if you like SSX, Tricky, and all those games, it's all those games combined together. Really fun. It's not the most intuitive game in the world, but I personally don't think it's that hard like everyone keeps saying it is either. Granted, I've been playing the game for years, but I mean, I was like 13 or whatever, 14 when I played it, and I was able to figure out how to play it. You know what I mean?
Had nothing else to do. It's halfway.
I mean, yeah, but like we all didn't have nothing else to do, so we were all kids. So what does that mean? You know what I mean? Everyone who's talking shit about Sonic Riders are people that were around my age, or at least in high school during that time. So you still had nothing else to do either, and we played harder games before. How can you play a game like F-Zero and then play Sonic Riders, but this game is too hard, I can't get into it? Excuse me?
I mean, F-Zero didn't have the air system, but
F-Zero has the same exact system Sonic Riders has. It has the boost thing. Like when you boost in oh my god. When you boost in Sonic Riders, you lose air. When you boost in F-Zero, you lose your little boost meter thing, and you have to regain your meter. Sonic Riders the same exact way. If you go, you can go a little to the side and regain your boost, but you may, people may pass by you because you're going a little bit off the road to do that. Sonic Riders going to a complete stop at the pit, but it's quick and easy. You do tricks on Sonic Riders. It's really fast. You can actually attack people. There's no game-breaking items like in some of these other racing games. There's no excuse. It's literally F-Zero with a board and you do tricks. But I'm not here to defend it. I can make a whole case study about why Sonic Riders is criminally underrated. But I was gonna say that you get over to Sonic Zero Gravity. That game, in retrospect, I want to say it was a little disappointing because it's like they saw what people were bitching about with Sonic Riders, and then they was like, okay, let's just simplify things a lot more. And they kind of like, instead of everyone having all of these unique boards, like you could switch between probably like 20 plus boards on Sonic Riders or something close to that. And you get to Sonic Free Riders and everyone's like just tethered to this one vehicle or this one mode of transportation on there, which was super dry, super whack to me in some ways. I mean, Sonic Zero Gravity was fun and all, but like it just felt like it took some of the freeness, I guess, or the free flow out of Sonic Riders. I feel like, and some of the creativity, but like, and then they added the whole zero gravity mode where you just shoot off like a rocket or whatever, and you don't really have to do much but move your Wiimote around. They had to implement motion control into that game somehow because it was on the Wii. But that was basically like a good bit of the stage where you're not really doing anything but moving left and right, basically, which I thought was kind of lame. It was cool when it first came out. Like, okay, this is kind of dope. After a while, I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything. You know, some of these. They even made a mod where it's a lot more interactive or whatever for the game. But anyways, we get the Free Rider. So I was okay with Sonic Zero Gravity. It wasn't as fun to me as the first one, but it was a little more tamed. And then you get the Free Riders, and it was like, I was like, bruh, I heard about it. Oh shit, we're getting a new Sonic Riders. I can't believe they're really about to do this. And it's gonna be on Xbox 360. I had it. Like, I'm down for that. Was it on 360 or was it on? It was on 360. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what the Connect was.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. Like, man, I'm so happy about that. My parents got to connect. I'm just gonna just play it on their Xbox when I go home to visit. Blah 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 blah. I'm looking at the fucking videos for it. Now, granted, I didn't play it per se, but I saw enough. Like, I'm looking, and I'm like, wait, why are they holding hands while they're playing? Okay, what is all this moving around? Oh, it's a motion control game. and it looks terrible. Let me see what other people think about it. I know you're not supposed to go based on what other people think on things, just to try it yourself. From what I saw and the opinions of people that I know personally that had the game, I was very disappointed. I didn't want to play a motion control Sonic Riders game. I want the first game, minimally Sonic Zero Gravity, but just them building upon it. You know what I'm saying? Like they did with Sonic All-Star Racing. But it looks like they kind of, we're not probably ever getting a Sonic Riders game again. I think they're just going to stick with Sonic, the kart game thing with Sonic All-Stars Racing. Or Sonic Team Racing or whatever the hell. But they're probably just going to stick with that line of racing games more than likely.
You sound so disappointed. It's making me sad.
I'm sad, and this sad music's playing on my stream. I love Sonic. I like Sonic Riders as much as like you like F-Zero. You know what I mean? I like F-Zero too, but that's how I felt about Sonic Riders.
I don't know, man. My love for F-Zero deep, boy.
My love for Sonic Riders is
I might
deep.
stab somebody else.
I'm the same way, and I like F-Zero too, but I know that you're a much bigger fan of that game than I am. But anyways, I'll let it go. What's your last game, DJ4?
I had one on the mind. Oh, actually, all right. So this wasn't a game I was super excited for, but I did have a horse in its race. Which, do you guys remember? You guys know about Bubsy Bobcat, right?
Oh no! Yes, I know about Bubsy. Thanks to you. I wouldn't have known about him if it wasn't for you.
So like the main thing is that like the reason why I had a horse in the race is because like as a cartoonist, as an artist, I was thinking like, man, it sure would be cool to, you know, see this character make a comeback. He's had such a rough time. People give him such a hard time. It would be super cool if he had a new game that just like worked. That was just solid, decent, played well. Like this would be his comeback game. And out of nowhere, I think Billion Software, whatever the company, it's a Chinese company, they just announced saying like, hey, a new Bubsy game's coming back. Bubsy's back, baby. Like sign up for the Bubsy Club. And there was the Bubsy Club essentially, like a newsletter, if you will. And they rode those coattails hard, but it's clear that they only put in so much money because they were riding on the name itself rather than actually making a sincerely good and new game. So like, you could see on the social media, like the person with whoever was running that social media was playing the role of Bubsy. He was making all these snarky jokes, like just everything. But like after the games came out, like the social media just went silent. So it's so cynical. Like it's just so clear that, oh, we were just here to sell a product. Now that the product's been made and sold as much as we could, like we just dipped. Like I don't think that account like updated on Twitter in a while, and like it was just doing like, hey, the game's on sale again. Hey, the game's on sale again. Bubsy's back, baby, kind of thing. It's just so disappointing what more could have been done with people who actually like legitimately cared to make that character have a good comeback. And I hate it. I contacted them too.
Oh man.
I would say like, hey, I got a proposition for y'all. And they'd say like, okay, let's see your portfolio. And then they didn't respond. They didn't say no, they just didn't respond. So, you know, maybe there's hope yet. Maybe I have to create like some kind of whatchamacallit, some a pitch or something. Like show that like there's some sincerity behind it, because I want to see that character succeed for the sake of seeing him succeed, but no one wants to put the money or effort behind him, and that's what makes it so frustrating. Yeah. Any thoughts on that? No.
Nope.
All right. Yeah.
I've heard.
What inspired you to want to do that? To reach out?
I think it's just like in general, it's just like a random idea, like how, you know, some of those artists like were saying like, man, I just want to make a remake of this one show or TV series that meant a lot to me. Bubsy didn't mean a lot to me, but it was just like kind of a cool idea of like, man, what if this character got a real shot at like a comeback? And that's pretty much all I was thinking about, and think like, man, it'd be cool if we did this, that, or the other. Like in that little TV show pitch that they tried to do that Rob Paulson voiced, like he had a niece and nephew, which hint that he had a sister or a brother or something. So I was like, man, it would be cool if like there was a brother sister kid. Like there were just so many ideas that could have been done if someone actually cared to do it, and they didn't care to do it. And that's what made the whole entire thing more frustrating. Like it wasn't just that they didn't do more; it was just that the things that they also did wasn't enough.
Enough.
What?
I said enough. Huh?
No.
Go back to the beginning. Man, but
So take me back in time.
yes, please.
Oh man.
To another world.
Can we count Sonic R as like a
No.
disappointing game?
No.
Because I didn't even
it
have to
didn't
hear about
disappoint
it
me.
coming. I didn't have to hear about it coming out. I just heard of a Sonic R. I'm like, oh, this must be awesome. You get to run around with Sonic in them. And I played it, and I was like, oh no.
I owned Sonic R on my PC back in the day, and as a kid, when I played it, I had the most amazing time. It
Yeah.
was fun memories. Even though I crank it up today, and I'm like, man, it's still a pretty okay game for its time, so I wouldn't consider it bad.
The thing that frustrates me the most is that every time people say, hey, Sega, let Sonic get back on his feet and run. And like, oh, we know what you guys want. Put him on an airboard. No, put him back on his feet. Oh, we know what you guys want. Put him in a car. No, let him run. Make him free. And that's why I was like kind of laughing when you were saying we're stuck with the Sonic racing games, Loxus. Because that's not going to happen again. Did
No,
you
it's
see
not.
what happened with Sonic Team Racing?
They had transformed right there.
Like when the whole lead up to like Sonic Team Racing was so flaccid. Like there was nothing to it. Like it was like, oh, your favorite Sonic characters, yeah, that's what we had to transform. Oh, you can team up, but can cars transform? No, but we got these cool stages like that one stage from Sonic Heroes. Oh, you mean that was also in Transformed?
Yeah,
God.
but that we're all right, Super J, go get your last one out.
Why you said like that?
I don't know, man. Can we count like Nintendo's reluctance to release the F-Zero game as a form of disappointment, most disappointing video game?
Kind of.
the lack of thereof.
The lack of.
I mean, technically, at least it was acknowledged in Nintendo Land.
They don't think they can do better than GX, man, and that's what's holding them back. It's the fact that they don't think that they can do better, and also like releasing it in today's world, they would have to dumb it down, and dumbing down the series would be bad because that's what F-Zero else makes F-Zero good. So it's like they're stuck between like those two spots, and I guess they just can't find a common middle ground. Plus, if they were to do it again, it would have to be Sega that do the development because that arcade style for GX cannot be topped.
No, it cannot. But I'm gonna disagree on the fact that I don't think. I think that I don't. And honestly, and I'm an advocate for. I don't think games should be re-released in this day and age when they were like unique back then, because I feel like you said, the market now is different. But like, I think that like I don't feel like they should have to feel like they need to dumb it down since Mario Kart exists already, and they already have games like Sonic Team. They have casual racing games out now. And I feel like F-Zero, even during that time when Mario Kart was out, I feel like Mario Kart was your party game you played. F-Zero was a big man's game you played. You know what I mean? That game was a lot grittier to a certain degree. it was a lot more hardcore. Like, if you want a challenge, you play F-Zero. If you just trying to F around with your homies, not in that way, then you play with your, you play Mario Kart. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like even now, especially with Mario Kart being as dumbed down as it is, I feel like, to me, I feel like it's dumbed down. I feel like F-Zero would be perfect now. Like, but going to what you said, I just don't feel like we're gonna get that arcade racing kind of feeling that we had before. I think at best what they probably end up doing is just re-releasing a port or some type of HD makeover of the GameCube version, but the GameCube version still looks good, so they could just port that shit over. It will be good. Maybe they'll release it if we ever get a GameCube online, Switch online thing. Maybe we'll get it on that. I don't know.
So the issue we run into that is that like companies are really trying to figure out like, all right, do we do remakes or do we do HD re-releases? Like they're really trying to figure like how to maximize money and figure like you can kind of get away with like NES and SNES because like, who's gonna put in the effort to remake those? But when it comes to 3D games, it's a little bit harder. That's why it's like taking so long. Like why we haven't seen GameCube and to a lesser extent N64 on Switch online yet is probably because Nintendo is trying to decide, all right, what do we really want to do here? But Super J, on a side note, as far as if you want to get that F-Zero scratch, you probably heard of this game, but I would recommend Fast RMX.
Yeah, it didn't do it for me.
That's fair.
Speaking of disappointing games, no, I'm joking.
No, it didn't do it for me, man. It was the first game I bought on my Switch, because, yeah, trust me, I played it. I played it as much as I could. It didn't do it for me.
Yeah, again, that's fair.
Let me say this one last thing, because I don't know how much podcast time we got.
Oh, yeah, go for it, man. It is your turn.
There's one last game I'm going to say, and once again, I'm going to say, when you grow up with something, you expect them to get it right. And y'all gonna know where I'm coming from this. 2002. Two companies merged to make something that we never would expect would be amazing. Had amazing story, great music, interesting characters, colorful cast.
Kingdom Hearts.
And yeah, boy! Kingdom Hearts 2002. And then Kingdom Hearts 2 in 2005. When Kingdom Hearts 2 dropped, I had so much fun playing that. Like, God, we would talk about that game for days at school. It was just so many secrets, so many things in the game. Like, it was just amazing to see your Disney characters with Sora fighting against the Heartless and the Nobodies. We were so confused by the story, and somebody was like, hey, you gotta play Chain of Memories. I never had a chance to get my hands on it. I'm glad they dropped Rechain of Memories. I played a little bit of that. I actually need to finish Rechain of Memories. But, we had our spinoffs over the days, like 358 and a half days and Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop, which were amazing days. I need to play Dream Drop. I know Loxus owned it. I never played Dream Drop. I did play 358 and a half days. That was actually pretty fun. Very great multiplayer game for Kingdom Hearts. But all that aside, Kingdom Hearts 3 in 2019 was a big disappointment to me. When I cranked that game up, I'm not going to say it wasn't bad. I had fun. I had fun in the first area when you was a Hercules and all this other stuff. I had fun in the Toy Story area, all that. But once I got to... I actually had fun in the Tangled area too. After Tangled and Toy Story, I don't want to say too much because I don't know who hasn't played that game yet. It wasn't really hitting it for me. That game, I realized that most of the time I was playing it, I felt like I was being carried, and I never felt like I was in too much danger. That game it's just so much to say about it. But I don't want to say too much because everybody has feelings towards that game. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a letdown on my list, and it's so many people that I've talked to in my lifetime, and it's just that game is just that serious. Like, people I've known, I'm not even joking, saying that game has died. One of my they like, oh, I wish I can't wait for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out, and then they've already passed. And then what if they were alive? They would have been just as disappointed. So they left this world knowing that Kingdom Hearts 3 was gonna be amazing, but it wasn't. Let everybody down. Like, it's just, oh man, I don't even know. I don't even have words for how that game makes me feel. Like, it's like a love-hate relationship. I know Loxus probably even had that on his list too. To be honest, that game hit a certain way that it shouldn't have hit us. Like, we deserve more.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I did, but like what I was gonna say, and you kind of hit some of the marks I was gonna hit. But what I will say is that they fixed everything through DLC. They added the critical mode, which made the game exponentially more difficult. They added the Remind DLC, which added more to the story and gave us the perspectives that we needed. They added more depth to the game and everything else, and made the game what it should have been in the first place. So, but the issue is that because of the day and age we're in now, we keep getting these games that are like halfway finished or released, and then they release the rest later type of thing, which kind of sucks. Because not to go back into Sonic, but I'm going back into Sonic. Sonic Team Racing was the same way. They released DLC way later. It's too late. I'm done. Bomberman Battle R, too late. Super Bomberman R, sorry. They released the DLC for that. It's too late. I'm already done with the game. I don't care. You know what I mean? So like, Kingdom Hearts 3 to me was cool. I had fun. I binged the game for an entire week to go ahead and beat it. I had a pretty good time with it, but I think I played it more so to get the tying up the loose ends of the storylines for the characters that I wanted to see have their climax, more so than the gameplay. Like a lot of the stuff in that game wasn't very memorable to me. But if I'm not mistaken, we're supposed to be getting the Kingdom Hearts collection coming to PC, which I believe includes Kingdom Hearts 3, and that'd be my chance to play through all the games again on PC. Because I haven't played any of those Kingdom Hearts games in over 5 years or more. So I plan on playing through them and then getting to Kingdom Hearts 3 so then I can get a fresh perspective on it and really with the DLC and see kind of how I feel about the game at that point. So
what makes me even madder about it is if you play the Final Fantasy VII Remake, it is probably the best RPG remake I've ever played in my life. And knowing that that company had that potential and dropped Kingdom Hearts 3 the way it was had me upset. How you gonna have that kind of potential and then drop 3, knowing the hype and everything that you had behind 3? Like, I don't understand why Kingdom Hearts 3 had to be what it is. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. The same way about Contra. Like, you know what the series is. Like, it just, how do you mess something up that you've done so well in the past? That's something that boggles me with these gaming companies. It's insane.
I think
it's insane.
One slight issue that Kingdom Hearts especially ran into is that like a lot of its hype, in hindsight, was a flash in the pan. And like they definitely messed up by like having all these spin-off games that were crucial to the storyline, so they're not really spin-offs. But like, so you have like half the audience that love the original Kingdom Hearts games going like, all right, I played 1, I played 2, I'm gonna skip 358 over 2 days, Dream Drop Distance, all these other games, but I'm gonna jump in 3 and I'll be ready. And everyone's saying like, nah, don't do that, you won't be ready. And they're like, nah, it's the 1, 2, and 3. How much am I gonna miss? And then like when the game came out, I was like, oh, I made a huge mistake.
I have no sympathy for people like that because they release so many different ways to play all those games and even just watch a lot of those games too. You don't even have to play those games. You can just watch them, like in a lot of these collections or just even online or something. So yeah, I have no sympathy for those people.
Yeah, I will say it is like a victim of the culture of, what is it? Where like if it's not numbered, it's probably not a sequel, or it's assumed not to be a sequel, or crucial to the storyline. So I can't fault them on that front. But I think the other thing too is that like we kind of put up, we were teenagers, we were high schoolers, like we kind of did put up with some of the crazier story elements because like, oh cool, Final Fantasy meets Disney, this is really cool, and it will always remain cool. But when you really sit back and think about it, it's kind of a miracle that Kingdom Hearts worked out at all to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, some people like will even reference, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen those Twitter posts where like someone says like, has Mickey showing up saying like, did somebody say the door to darkness? And then you just see him standing there in that like hoodie and stuff.
Yeah.
Or when like,
yeah, he's at the door to darkness, Sora.
Or like when like Sephiroth shows up and you just hear Donald say like
Donald, I couldn't understand shit you just said. Oh yeah, I think he said we gotta go to the darkness, Sora.
So we all up in there like,
huh?
I wish I had my Sia thing up. God dang it. Sia. I can do it in my chat.
But yeah, so like that's kind of the situation Kingdom Hearts sort of ran into, is that like it's a fantastic series that resonates with a lot of us. Like the design's really good, the music's really good. Depending on which game you're playing, the gameplay is really good. The story only continues to get more and more convoluted the further you get into the series, but you put up with that to see like the cool interactions. To have seen Disney characters interact with these anime protagonists, to see Square Enix characters interact with these Disney characters, and for some reason a lot of those Square Enix characters started to disappear in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I don't know why, considering the game was developed by Square Enix. But like, yeah, I sense the disappointment. I still need to beat the game myself. I'm not sure if they could catch the same energy as they already did with Kingdom Hearts. And in my opinion, I haven't beaten the game yet, so I don't know how it fully ends just yet. But like, I think the series is probably best to lay to rest at this point, in my opinion. But this is me saying it before I beat the game.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
That man practiced that voice.
It's just fun to do. I wish I could enunciate. All I can do is just like blow air through my teeth. And like, I can make it sound like Donald's laughing, but that's the best I can do. That.
Wow, that was perfect. What the heck?
That was kind of good.
Freaking June. Shout out to June the Moon, also part of Salt Gaming. Shout out to Salt Gaming. Make sure you support Salt Gaming on YouTube and all the other Twitter stuff and whatever. Anyways, I was gonna say, June the Moon makes a really good Donald impression too. I have a clip of him doing it. It was really, really good.
I ain't never heard that.
It was so good. Like he did it when we were playing Splatoon, and like the chat was popping off. They're like, "What the heck?" And then he was like, "What's that?" He said something like that in Donald's voice. And we was like, "Wait, what?" Like I didn't even know it was him, and he wouldn't fess. I'm like, who in the call did that? 'Cause it was me, him, Tendo, and some other people. And I was like, who made that sound? Nobody would speak up. And then finally, June finally said it was him. I was like, really, dude?
It's a sound either you can, or it's like either something you can or can't do. So like when it shows up by someone who can actually truly do it, it's like it's a magical moment essentially.
Milty in the chat said it sounded like Donald got choked out when you did that.
Yeah, I need to practice a little bit more, but
no, I mean it was fine. Like you still sound like Donald, you just sound like Donald got choked out. But
that's what we get for not casting heal when we need him to.
Dang, heal. You know, all right, before I end, I'm gonna say I honestly didn't even have that much trouble with Donald. Like the issues people had with Donald, I honestly didn't have. But I think it's because I think I'm more so focused on healing myself. Like I didn't rely on Donald.
Yeah, don't have faith in him.
No, and I think that's probably why. And I think I don't even think I knew he was bad. I think just inherently as a kid, I just didn't think to rely on AI to heal me like that. So I just always stockpiled on potions and cured myself. So if he healed me, I was grateful. You know, I'm like, thanks, shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but that's funny though.
Yeah, man, I feel like we kind of got tilted by some of these disappointments.
We did, but we kept things under control. This was actually really cool, really fun, and we got to do this again sometime soon. But guys, if you were watching this on YouTube, be sure to comment below some of your worst games, and maybe we may discuss. Maybe it'll come up in our, the next time we do these. I'm sure there are way more disappointing games we probably just didn't think of because this was super impromptu. So, and I also want to do a video eventually on some of the games that we thought were going to be disappointing, but was pleasantly surprised about potentially. So, that'd be pretty cool on the flip side. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to this episode of Pause for Effects. Thank you, Super J, for participating. This was really cool. I kind of want to have you on for more of these, actually.
Thank you for having me, man. The food here is great.
Oh yeah, man. We laid things out for you. You know what I mean? DT4 got the pastries, and I got the beer out and stuff. So everything's good.
Yeah, but we need to thank the crafting company. Actually, they're the ones that were in charge of the food. Actually,
who's the crafting company? Konami.
Oh yeah, Konami.
Concept ran by Inafune.
Inafune. God, I'm gonna hate if that becomes my legacy.
Oh no,
Just saying his name out.
You said it like you've been saying his name like that I think even before Mighty Number 9. I feel like I've heard you say his name like that, even like way back in like 2010 or something.
Probably if Mega Man Battle Network Star Force.
Yeah, or something, or like, or when we didn't get any more Mega Man games, you was like, eat up food there. Yeah, no,
but the last thing, completely unrelated, but do you know how much the Star Force games are worth these days?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, like if you have a complete pack of Mega Man Star Force 1, I think Dragon version, you can get like $90 for it.
You know, Pokemon, I heard I was on a stream the other day, and apparently you can, if you had Pokemon, I think it's Emerald or something, you can start that for like $200 right now on eBay. $200, bro.
Dang, yeah. I mean, I wish I wasn't such a sentimental person, because like I got
You have it?
no, I don't have Emerald, but I do have other Pokemon games that like those games have not gotten any cheaper since they came out. They've actually gotten more expensive, but I can't let them go.
Pokemon are some of the few games that actually still like sell for a decent amount at you know, at GameStop. Like I remember, I think I sold one of my Pokemon games for like almost $50 alone at GameStop. I was like, holy crap, a game that sells at a decent price here?
I wonder why. Well, I mean, obviously there's demand for those games and they're not in print anymore, so that would explain the full thing. But like, yeah, you could just, not that I condone it, you could, you know, do what you want because that pirate is free if you really wanted it if you wanted it that badly. So yeah, Pokemon be doing numbers, dog.
Y'all are hard fiddly.
Be doing numbers.
They be doing numbers. Oh shoot, Red's in my town of Animal Crossing. But I would like to talk about the animal. Okay, so do you want to come back sometime this week to talk about the anniversary, dude, on DT4, and then just post it on YouTube next week, or like, what do you want to do?
If we can see all things depending, chances are probably like tomorrow and the day after I might be. No, I think I'll be fine, but
it don't have to be like right tomorrow if you don't want to, because I'm not gonna be streaming tomorrow. So if you want, we can go over it like later this week or something.
Yeah, all things depending we can see. Worst case scenario, we'll just like pop it in because I don't think it'll be a lot to talk about, but like we just pop it into next week's if we do next week's episode. Yeah.
But God, let's start wrapping this up here. If you're tuning in from Spotify and anywhere else, thank you for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, like again, remember to subscribe, hit the like button, comment below, let us know what you think. All of those things. If you tune in live, thank you so much for that. And you can find me at SG_Loxus on Twitter and on YouTube, and Loxus_TV live on Twitch. DT4, what are your plugs?
You can find me at DTFO on Twitter, and everything else I still need to continue updating, but I'm getting there.
And for you, Super J?
You can just go to Google and type in Super J64. You'll find me everywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on everything. Just Super Space J64.
Hey, what's this Russian site you're on? private nuclear codes.
What's this not safe for work site I see you on? This. I'm joking.
I'm on everything.
But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you're tuning into this live, I'll probably be streaming on YouTube later tonight. I don't really know. I have a couple games in mind, but I'll be streaming tonight. So, but thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Have yourselves a good one. Peace.
Bye.